Hello dear friends, my name is Jitendra Bafna. Today we will going to see what is OAuth authorization code and what is OAuth implicit code. Okay, so basically OAuth provides various type of grant type like client credentials, authorization code, implicit code. Okay, so in this tutorial we will go walk through what is the difference between authorization code and the implicit code, and we will going to use Okta and the MuleSoft for this demonstration. Okay, so let's start. The first thing, let I will explain you what is authorization code. So I have already published some of the video on this, so you can go through that. So basically how authorization code works. So basically we have to create a client ID and the client secret on the OAuth provider. So in this case we will going to use Okta. So we have to create a client ID and the client secret in the Okta. So the client, once client got the client ID and the client secret, a client will send a client ID to the authorization server. The authorization server will validate the client ID and it will redirect to the resource owner. So in this case the resource owner is Okta itself. So it will pop up one screen where you need to put a username and the password which is available in your Okta. Okay, or resource owner might be different, it can be anything. Okay, but in this case we will use the Okta as a authorization server and Okta as a resource owner. So once you get authenticated, it will send 200 to authorization server, and authorization server will send a authorization code on the callback URL. I will show you what is that callback URL. So one client received the authorization code, the client needs to generate a token, and that is the JWT token, and we can call it as a bearer token also. So client send authorization code plus client ID, client secret, scope, and like redirect URL to the authorization server. Now on the difference is that in the first it send the request on the authorized URL. Now it will send the request on the token URL. This token, now what will happen once it send the request, it will validate all the data and it will return the access token. Okay, now we have to send that access token or in the authorization header with your actual request. Okay, we will send to the resource server. In this case MuleSoft API manager will be the resource server where we send the request, and we will apply the policy here which can validate the JWT token using this JWT claim validation URL. Once token is successfully validated, it return the data to the client application. Okay, so now I will show the implicit code. So in implicit code there is a one difference I will show you. The first request it's similar to authorization code where it send the client ID on the authorized URL. In this case we are not requesting authorization code. See, in the previous slide we are requesting a client ID and we are requesting authorization code. In this case we are requesting a bearer token directly. So Okta's authorization server will validate the client ID and then it will redirect to the resource owner screen where we will put our username and the password. Okay, so resource owner will validate the username and password. In this case Okta will be the authorization server and Okta will be the resource owner. Your resource owner can change. Okay, it can be different from your authorization server also. And once you get authenticated, resource owner will send 200 it get authenticated. Now what will happen, authorization server will send a bearer token to the callback URL. In previous case it was sending the authorization code to the callback URL. Here it is directly sending a access token on the callback URL. Now in previous case if you see, we have to call once we got the authorization code, we have to again call that token URL for generating the token. You can see it here. But in implicit code you don't have to do that. You directly send the token which you got in the authorization header to the resource owner. Resource owner is the MuleSoft API manager. It will validate the token using that JWT claim validation URL. Once token is validated, the data will securely send back to the client. Okay, so there is a one difference between authorization code and the implicit code. In authorization code we have one extra step. So first step we just get authorization code, then we have to generate the token, then we send the request. In this case we get the we don't request for authorization code, we directly request for the token Once we got the token from the authorization server, we can use that token to send the request okay, to the resource server, and resource server will send back the response to us. Okay, so we will see with demo. Okay, so let me open the Okta if I have any Okta open. Oh yeah, let me close everything. Okay, so what I will do first thing, I will go to application. Okay, so first demo we'll go with authorization server. Okay, now click on this web. Next, and like I don't want any base URI, I can change the callback URL to 8081 and I can keep as it is, or like even I can change this to OAuth 2 callback. I can change the application name. So application name can be authorization code demo. Okay, I don't want any redirect URL. I will use authorization code. So make sure this callback URL is very important and simply say done. Once you have said done, it will give a client ID and the client secret. Okay, you can copy this client ID, go to Notepad and copy this. Okay, just sorry, go to Notepad. Okay, so these are my client ID and the client secret. Now next thing what we have to do, other thing, like you can go to authorization server. So you can create a free developer Okta account, okay, for like just a like for learning purpose, or so now if once you create a developer account Okta Dev, you get a default authorization server. You can click on this authorization server. Okay, and once you click on this authorization server, okay, so you got something, you have to define the scope. I have already created one scope, mule scope. You can simply click on add scope and simply add name and include the public metadata. You can click that. So in this case I have already have a mule scope, so I will not define it again. Now click on this URL. So this is important URL. It contains a lot of things like authorization server URL, your JWT validation URL. So you can search for JWKS URI. Okay, this is JWT validation URI, which contains some private key and the public keys, which will be with this URL we will use to validate a token. So here, so okay, so we will configure this URL. So I mentioned like Okta JWT claim validation, right? So we will use that particular URL to validate the token. So you can see like it contains various keys which will use to validate the token. Okay, let's keep as it is. Let me go, like let me pick the authorization server URL. I will copy this. Okay, so then I will go to Notepad. So if you see in authorization server, we have to pass some query parameter. One is response type. So in this case we are expecting response as a code, and we have to pass a client ID. Okay, the client ID is this, and like we can pass a redirect URI. So what is the redirect URI? Let me copy from my Okta. So make sure you are having the same redirect URI which you have copied in the Okta application. Click here, go to general and just copy this URL. Okay, so let me do one thing. Redirect, let me think like any other code. Yeah, you have to pass something called state. So you can give any state 1 2 3. Now what I will do, I will log out of Okta. Otherwise what will happen, like it will not pop up the screen, it will do the single sign on. So I just pop out of or log out of the Okta. Let me copy this particular URL, right? Enter it. So once you enter it, so it will redirect me to the resource owner. So if you see the screen, so I have sent the client ID, redirect URL to the authorization server. Authorization server will validate the client ID and redirect to the resource owner, and we will put the username and the password. Okay, sign in. If you put the correct username and password, it will send me a authorization code. So something is okay. So I forget resource server do not have a default. Okay, so basically what happened? So I forget to put scope. So scope is very important. You need to put this scope, otherwise it will not work. Okay, so I've just let me again. I will log out of Okta because I already put the username and password. So now you put this URL again. So because I forget to put the scope, that's why it failed. Again put your username and the password. This is now redirect to the owner server, resource owner server. Okay, so you can see you got the code back. This is my authorization code. Okay, so this is one step. The next step, once we get the authorization code back, so if you see, we got the authorization code on the callback URL. This is the code and state. So what state we pass value, it came back into the response. So basically, why we want state? So basically, if you want to do the response mapping with correct, request, so you can make use of this state. So now next step, we have to generate the token. So copy this token URL, go to Postman, okay, and post this token, okay, and use the post request, and we have to pass a lot of query parameters. So one is code, that is authorization code. Then we have to pass a client ID, client secret, then the grant type, okay, then redirect URI. So just I will start copying this redirect URI from here. Then you need to pass scope, mule scope, then grant type is authorization underscore code, then client ID in the client secret, you can copy it from here, client ID and the client secret. Okay, now code. So code the code which we have received on the URL. Okay, use this code. Go to Postman and use this. One important parameter, you have to pass the correct content type, and it can be www URL form encoded. Send the request. So we got the authorization field, right? The authorization code is filled, and the invalid grant type, I don't know why invalid grant type, is any spelling mistake or authorization code. Okay, so let 1 minute. Okay, so let me generate the authorization code again because it got expired. Copy this URL, okay, and go to Postman, and it will give a new authorization code. Okay, copy this code again, go to parameters, send the request. See, this time you got the token, right? So this is the JWT token. Copy this token, and you got the various parameter with this, like what is the scope, when it is expiring, beer. So basically make sure the authorization token get expired within the 10-15 seconds, 20 seconds, or something around that. So now you can decode this token using paste it. So it will decode token, it will provide various information. So basically what is the issuer here, what is the expiry date, when token is generated. Okay, now what we have to do, I have one application deployed on Anypoint platform. Okay, so this is one application, so I will apply one policy here. before applying the policy, I want to show you, like, so let me show what is the this is my simple application, okay, which is just returning the payload authenticated. Okay, so what I will do, let me go to Anypoint Platform Runtime Manager. This is my demo application. I will copy the URL. I will go to this is HTTP version 1. Okay, just send the request. Methods not allowed for the endpoint. Is it post or something like that? Let me check the method. Okay, it's just a post, that's fine. Send the request. So it's authenticated. Okay, so request has been authenticated. It's a simple request, like okay, but there is no authentication on the top of it. So what I can do, I want to apply the authentication. So I have mentioned, like, we will make use of this JWKS URI. So I have already shown you, like, it contains some public key and the private key which can use to decode your JWT token, and open this URL. And it also provide various information, RSA 256 and all such kind of details. So quickly I will go to API manager again, Anypoint Platform. I will go to API manager. Then I will go to this test app. I will go to policy, and here I can apply JWT validation policy, configure policy. So I will use, like, I want to send a token in the header only, RSA it's 256. I will use JWKS, the URL which I have shown you. You can get it from, like, I will skip client validation. Okay, like, make sure this URL is proper, and you can skip all this parameter. And the algorithm RSA 256, you can get it from that particular URL. See, RSA and it's 256. Just apply. Okay, once you apply the policy, it takes like 45 seconds to get reflect. Okay, so let's wait, and like we will generate the token once again for generating, or I think this token will work because it's 3600 milliseconds around, so it should work. Now send the request. Still a policy haven't applied, so let's wait. Don't know what happening, like policy must get applied with this pay. Send now. Is there any authorization header or something like that? Yeah, so you got the error. Now JWT token is required, the policy has been applied. So what you can do now, go to authorization, or you can go to header and simply say authorization, so bearer, and copy this particular token. Okay, Control C and simply space and paste it. Now send the request. It should authenticate it, right? So now the request has been authenticated. If I do something wrong with the token, the invalid token. So what happens? So we have seen the authorization code flow. Okay, now what we will do, we will see how we can make use of implicit flow, implicit code. So for that, the first thing what I will do, I will again go back to my Okta. So let me, I am already logged into the Okta. Okay, so I will create one more application for our implicit code flow. I will say add application, web, next, and I will keep name as a implicit code. I will remove this. I will use the same callback URL. Okay, that is fine. You can use same also. Just paste it. I will don't want logout URL, but instead of this I will select implicit and I will say done. Okay, so it will give a new client ID and the client secret. You can copy that client ID and the client secret. Copy somewhere here. Now copy this client secret somewhere here. Okay, so we will going to use like okay, so we have done this settings. Now I will sign out and I will close this thing and close, let metadata to be open. And in this flow what will happen, like we will send a client ID and the authorization server will validate it and redirect to the resource owner and it will authenticate it. And this time what we will see, instead of authorization code we will see the bearer token into the URL. So let me go through. So we will use the same authorized URL. Okay, and just enter, and instead of like we first parameter is response type equals to token. This time instead of code you mention token. Then I will say client ID equals to this. Then I will say this redirect URL, this parameter again. Okay, and you have to pass the state. In this case I will say something like 234, and there is one more parameter, nonce 897. That's it. Okay, you have to pass this much of the settings and just go to URL. So what we have passed I will show you. So like response type in previous case it is a code, this time it's token. The rest of the parameter remains same, and just like yes, we can pass the scope also. Scope equals to mule scope. Okay, rest of the parameter is same, and we are adding one more extra pattern, that is nonce. Copy this URL, go to browser and hit this. Okay, it will redirect me to the resource owner, Jitendra and 2555, whatever my username and the password. I will put those, and like just sign in. As soon as you sign in, it will send a token onto your redirect URL. It's taking some time for logging. So I will just pause the video till it, or not, I will not pause it, it take time. Okay, so you can copy this URL and you will find the access token in this URL. See, it will provide the type, bearer, expiry, in scope, whatever, and this is my token which I can use to pass with our actual request. Copy this access token. Instead of code we got the access token. So let me go to authenticate. I will send the request, it is failed. Now I will to copy the token which we have got from the implicit code. Okay, the rest of the setting on JWT token will remain same on the policy. It got authenticated. Okay, if I do something wrong with so you got my point, right? So that is the difference between implicit code and the authorization code. It is recommended to use the authorization code. It provides the extra security. So basically, if you see the implicit code, we have never validated a client secret. We just make use of a client ID during the authorization during the authorization server call. But like we are never calling a token URL. So but token URL expect client ID and the client secret. But in the case of implicit code, we never send client secret, right? Because we get the token in our first request itself, right? So I hope you like this video. Thanks for watching it.